Alright, so we need to talk about Batman. That's right, Batman is in the DCU, and not only do we have our first look at him, but even with the future of the DCU run by James Gunn, as we know it so far, with everything that we know about it so far, it seems to be looking very bright right now. And so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything we know about Batman, what the direction and future holds for this character entering the new DC universe, what needs to happen in order for this character and his story to succeed, especially for the new universe to be a success as well. So that's what I'm going to break down for you right here. And so if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so help us out any future vids. But now, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with this is coming from the most recent episode of Creature Commandos. This is the penultimate episode, episode 6, when we see Dr. Preposterous on the dance floor, especially as that episode was taken through his origin story. But then, as he looks up, we get a silhouette of Batman, or I should say, our very first look at the DCU's version of Batman. But not only is it only like a small animated cameo, but we have no idea who is going to be playing this new version of Batman in the DCU, and that's what is so exciting, because you even know that even in episode 4 we did get our first look at him, but even for like a few seconds when Cersei was looking inside of Waller's head, especially with the vision, and especially as James Gunn pointed out in that episode, that was setting up more of the new DC universe, as we're getting introduced to more characters. But even with episode 6 is when the real picture, not the groundwork that James Gunn is laying in. And you know why this is so important, because even though that we might get more silhouettes of Batman probably towards the end of Creature Commandos, but even though that this came out right after New Year's Day, so you know that we're just starting off 2025 right with our first look at Batman in the DCU, because even though that this isn't coming from like a social media post or from James Gunn, this is coming from an episode of television, and like even though why not to introduce Batman that in your own project from that should I say James Gunn's DC television for DC Studios, and that's what they introduced him in Batman was like the perfect spot to do it. And even though people freaked out over this, that our very first look at Batman is here, but even though what the question is, who will be playing Batman in the DCU? Some people will be saying Robert Pattinson, but that's in DC Elseworlds with Matt Reeves. But even that, this is like the new version of Batman in the DCU, and there's a million other candidates for who will be playing the Caped Crusader, especially in the upcoming Batman Brave and the Bold. And even with James Gunn's comments on what he had to say about this first look at Batman, now he is introduced, and now what type of future that he has moving forward and what lies ahead for the character, that he did say that with this first look that he is already established, he already exists in this brand new DC universe, so he doesn't need to have his origin story told, because throughout the many iterations of the Batman movies, especially with Michael Keaton, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, but even though that was in his young years as a detective, but even though that this is going to be a new Batman established, he doesn't need to have like his story told all over again, because even though that this is the same can be said with the Superman of what he's doing with that movie as well. So I am glad that James Gunn is putting this out, so I have full faith in the man, because he knows how to adapt the character from the comics to the screen, because even though that he admitted that his favorite character is Batman, why I think this is so brilliant, and that's because like he is great at telling a story, and especially with many other projects that this new version of Batman can appear in. So this is like a really exciting thing to look forward to, because with the Caped Crusader that we know for all along, but especially with the DCU's version of Batman, like we see right here, I think we're gonna see even more silhouettes. And even though that I think it's going to get announced later in the year, even if you look at the grander big picture of the new DC cinematic universe, that's gonna be run by James Gunn, and even for what his slate is, because it's called Gods and Monsters, and even with Batman Brave and the Bold, that's going to be a part of that slate. But even though that Creature Commandos marks Batman's first appearance, even though that he has a much bigger future later down the line, and he'll soon come together and meet up with other characters in the DC universe, other comic book characters that James Gunn is going to assemble. Another thing that I want to bring up is why Batman's story needs to succeed in this universe, because especially as everything that we know about Batman from the comics, from the source material, all the way up to the big screen, especially out of all the iterations of Batman that we all love so much, because I love Batman as well, but even that this story has to be done right, especially if people want to fall in love with this new version of Batman, or what's he going to look like, what he's going to be capable of in order to be in this established universe that James Gunn has created. Because we all know the man, but even though like with what Matt Reeves adapted with Robert Pattinson's version of Batman, it is really good. I really love the Batman, but even as we speak, this is a different universe. I mean, this is James Gunn's universe as we're seeing right here, and you know that with this version of Batman, like I think it's gonna be very different, and I think it might be a candidate that has to be older for the role of the Crusader, for the right age to play this character, and all of the other villains that you could think of. And just with everything that we know about this version of Batman, that he's already going to succeed. And in fact, even if we get one fight scene of Batman versus Superman, like to take on David Corenswet's version of the Man of Steel himself, I mean, I don't know if that's even a possibility, but I don't want them to be Batman v Superman in the DCEU. But I think if this version of Batman is done right, people are going to show up for this character's next couple projects, for what he has set up. And I think for whoever is going to play this version of Batman, I mean, that person is going to be sticking around for a long time to deliver this character's perspective. I admire to it, especially about Wayne Manor and Gotham, especially with the Batcave, the Batmobile, and everything that you can think of with Batman. Especially if you look at like Batman's stories in the comics, like there's like so much that there has to be adapted from James Gunn in order to make this universe right. Because even though now we're starting off with Superman, also with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, that's after that. But even with the upcoming Brave and the Bold, directed by Andy Muschietti, like that does not have a release date yet. But I think they're still working on it though. But even though this is why I love that we're having this new version of Batman that is already here. He's already been in the new DC universe. Just like that, I think it's already off to a great start so far. Like he doesn't need to be like introduced in like a movie in order to like or like a post crazy to have him set up. And now, especially with the upcoming Batman Brave and the Bold, like I mentioned, like a few things that I want to point out with everything that we know, that this is going to be a fresh reboot. This is going to be the first ever Batman film in the new DC universe. That's going to be from James Gunn and Peter Safran, and then especially this is going to be focusing on Batman and his son Robin, and especially with him becoming his sidekick, and just with them like coming together. And also it's going to set up dynamic duo, which is the story on Robin. So this is basically how we're going to see Batman's lore and his origin unfold, if you know what I'm talking about. But this is why I'm also like so excited, because especially if you're a fan of Batman or just a fan of the pop culture character in general, people are going to show up to this movie or like show up whatever project this character is going to appear in either way. So yeah, this is like pretty exciting stuff. I mean, I have full faith in James Gunn, especially for what he's doing with Superman and even with Brave and the Bold, which they're still working on. And even though ever since that movie was announced, but I have faith what they're doing with this universe, and it's especially like, I mean, Gunn is going to adapt every comic storyline that Batman was ever in, and every villain that he has fought. He's going to adapt them right, like a true storyteller and director that he is. And even with all the details that have not been revealed, but I just know that this new Batman is going to succeed in the new DC universe, and we should all be very excited as well. But that's going to do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below and what your thoughts on this. If you're excited to see this new version of Batman in the DCU continue to succeed in this grander big picture of the DC universe run by James Gunn as well, just let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to turn the notification bell for future videos. You also follow all our social medias over the link down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.